But if the federal government assumed the primary protagonist of the polygamy drama was out of the way, they received a rude surprise in the next Mormon leader, John Taylor.
If anything, he was more adamant than Brigham Young was. He essentially nailed the flag to the mast on plural marriage, saying we're not going to give up at all on the thing.
Like two burdened trains driven on by their own momentum, Taylor's commitment to plural marriage and Congress's commitment to break the Mormon Church raced headlong toward each other. The collision came in the 1880s. Under federal law, polygamy was difficult to prove since there were no public records for plural marriage ceremonies. But in 1882, Congress outlawed illegal cohabitation, making even the suspicion of polygamy sufficient grounds for conviction. Federal informants watched church buildings for signs of marriage ceremonies and conducted round-the-clock surveillance of the homes of Mormon leaders. Scores of polygamists started to go to prison as the result of midnight no-knock raids. In the middle of the crackdown, Church President John Taylor and the upper ranks of church leadership disappear into a Mormon underground.
And from 1885 until his death in 1887, he was completely secluded and did not appear in public at all. He would be in one place for a period of time, and then there was a rumor that the federal deputies were nearby, and so he and his counselor, George Buchanan, and their trusted associates would scurry off to another hiding place.
For John Taylor, it was living outside the law because he felt the law was unjust and that God's law was a higher law.
While John Taylor was on the underground seeking to avoid federal informants, a pivotal moment in the history of plural marriage took place. It was the fall of 1886, and Taylor was holed up in this home in the town of Centerville, north of Salt Lake City. He was secretly visited by three high-ranking authorities of the Mormon Church. They carried a plan to end the practice of polygamy. What happened next is the subject of sharp disagreement. But one thing is certain. In this simple home were sown the seeds of a plural marriage subculture that has endured for more than 100 years. According to witnesses, after listening to the plan to abandon polygamy, Taylor went into a bedroom for the night. The next morning, he announced he had been visited by God and Mormon Church founder Joseph Smith. In the cramped front room, he announces polygamy must be carried on regardless of the cost, and reportedly ordains a group of men with the power to perform plural marriage. Taylor dies the next year, still on the run and still dedicated to polygamy.